before I was offered Little Darlings. Here she comes sliding, which really intrigued me. And it was the producer who sent it to me. His name was Stephen Friedman. Soon, Steve set it up with me at Paramount. And that's when I met Don Simpson, who was the executive in charge, and Nancy Harden, who was working for him. And his bosses were Michael Eisner and Barry Diller. Barry Diller was the top of the food chain. And another young executive who was working with Michael Eisner at the time was Jeffrey Katzenberg. But I thought the script I got, which was wonderful by Kimmy Peck, it still needed work because I didn't think it went to the heart of the matter. And everyone agreed we should do another draft to kind of further explore what was there. So Steve in the studio hired Daleen Young. And so Daleen and I worked on what this new draft would be. And what I wanted to explore was the core of the film, which is losing your virginity.
God, it was so personal. Like you could see right through me.
Now the studio, they weren't resisting this, but in their mind, they were thinking of Animal House, which was a big, big hit 1 or 2 years before. So this was kind of the female version of Animal House in their minds in a kind of marketing sense. And I understood that. I understood this was kind of the marketing potential, and it was supposed to be a comedy. We were supposed to have fun. But I also understood intuitively that comedies could also be serious. And there's a long tradition predating the cinema, including the 100 years of cinema, where comedies can take on serious subjects. So I thought this was kind of the artistic, creative world we were living in. Daleen delivered this draft, and I thought, great, because in that draft, we had scenes which were not in the original draft, where Angel and Ferris could address what it meant to lose your virginity. And that's the script that was greenlit, that was budgeted, and that's the film we shot.
Angel versus Ferris. Whoever loses her virginity first wins.
I certainly wasn't thinking of the film in opposition to any of the films that were made, but I knew it was more than just slapstick and raunchiness and quote-unquote sexploitation. That we had an opportunity to go and explore things within the context of a comedy that were more heartfelt and more emotionally real. That's what interested me as a filmmaker. It's what interested me in the film I made in film school. It's what interested me with Verna. And it certainly was what the core raison d'etre of making this film, what motivated me as a filmmaker. So yes, we were working in a kind of an idiom where we had to keep it light. We wanted to keep it light. It should be light. But lighthearted is not antithetical to meaningful and heartfelt. Those things can coexist. Christy McNichol was an emerging star. She had done no movies yet, but she had done a TV movie called The Summer of My German Soldier, which I saw, where she delivered that kind of poignancy. Tatum was already a big star. And then it took a while to find Randy. We were looking at a lot of people on both coasts. Vic Ramos was a casting director. He was not our casting director on Little Darlings, but he was also a casting director, and he brought Matt Dillon to our attention. And he just found Matt Dillon at school. He hadn't done nothing. And in that period when we were casting him, he was also cast by Francis Ford Coppola in the movie called The Outsiders. And you'll know better than me which movie was released first, but they were made almost at the same time, back to back. I'm not sure whether Francis Ford Coppola discovered him or Ron Maxwell discovered him, or we both discovered him at the same time. But it was a good discovery either way, because he was a real natural talent and a dream to work with, just a really nice guy. And then the counselor role, we went through a whole lot of big process again on both coasts before we got together with Armand Asante, who was a rising box office star at the time. And it was kind of counterintuitive to cast him because he was getting cast as kind of mafia hit guys or romantic leads at the time. But we thought he's a very interesting actor and he'd bring another dimension and different color to the role. And then we found this marvelous set in Georgia, which was an old CCC camp from the Depression era, which was like intact. These beautiful hues of wood, faded wood in this pine forest, very quiet. I'm a stickler on quiet locations. It just doesn't have to look good. It's got to really be quiet. Can't be near an interstate or an airport, because I'm a stickler on production sound. I don't want to be forever looping because it's never the same. The quality of the sound on the set of the performance is never the same months later on a looping stage. 99% of what you hear in the finished film was captured on the day. The emotion in the voice, the feeling in the voice, it's what happened in the moment. And that's why, it's every film I've made, the sound crew and the camera crew has to be really happy. And they know if you're not happy, if you're not getting it, I want to know, because you got to get everything. And I'm glad we did, because I think there's some extraordinary performances in that film.